The Pittsburgh Steelers are spiraling as things are starting to get heated in the locker room, and the top players on the team are calling each other out in the media, voicing major frustration. But first, before I get more into that, make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. Also, like this video. Now, let's get right back into it. So, these past 3 weeks, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense has looked horrible. From the Eagles game, to the Ravens game, to the Chiefs game, the Steelers defense gave up too many points, too much miscommunication, and week after week, players are starting to get angry, and to the tipping point. And it's gotten to the point where Patrick Queen has called out the entire team. And now players like Cameron Heyward and more are starting to step in and voicing their frustration as things are getting heated as they call out their teammates in the media. So let's get into it right away. Let's see what was said. I'm going to go through each person's quote individually because things are spiraling. All these quotes I'm about to read are from this week alone, not to even mention the past video I made on Patrick Queen, which is on the channel, of him calling out the entire defense, cursing them out, and more. So this week alone, let's start off with Deshon Elliott, because he had the best quotes out of everyone. So he said this: first off, guys can't be effing wide open. That's the first thing. Do your job. We communicated guys just weren't doing their freaking job. Shouldn't be having these problems in week 18. This is a week 1, week 2 problem. So I don't know where we went down the line, started becoming a whole different defense than we were, but we gotta get back to who we are. End quote. So that was direct and straightforward. Now let's move over to Alex Highsmith, because he got involved. He's a quiet guy. He doesn't really talk too much. But in the media this week, he called out his team. He said this: it's gotta be a want to. There's not enough of that right now. There's gotta be a want to, and it's that time of the year where we got 2 guaranteed games left. We're gonna find out who wants this. Everybody in this room gotta want it. That's the only way we're gonna move on. We're gonna get better. We just gotta put our head down and work. But we gotta want it. End quote. So once again, that was direct and straightforward. And from a guy like Alex Highsmith should speak volumes. Because he's basically saying right now, it doesn't look like much people are playing their hardest, giving it their all. And he wants to go out there and give it his all. But he just doesn't feel like the team is doing that right now. And if they want to win and move on in the playoffs and even do anything this season, it has to start with the players stepping up and playing to their capabilities and actually showing some emotion. So this is good from Alex Highsmith. Now let's move over to another guy. Let's move over to Cameron Heyward. Because Cameron Heyward, he said this: when 10 guys do their job and 1 guy doesn't, we are screwed. End quote. So this is a good quote from the captain, and it kind of goes to the miscommunication thing that has been going along in the locker room. 10 guys doing their job, 1 guy isn't. So who's the 1 guy not doing their job? In my eyes, if I had to look at it from a football perspective, it could either be Minkah Fitzpatrick or Cameron Sutton. Those are the 2 worst players on the defense in the last 2 weeks. It seems like they're always in the wrong spot. They're always doing the wrong thing. And after every single play, you look at the touchdown to Mark Andrews, everyone like Patrick Queen has their hands up looking at Minkah Fitzpatrick like, what are you doing? And then when they caught a ball and Xavier Worthy got the touchdown in the left corner of the end zone, had to run it in, once again, it was Minkah Fitzpatrick who made a miscommunication, was not in the right spot. And after the play, Deshon Elliott had his hands up in the air, if you go watch the play, saying, what are you doing? So it could either be Minkah Fitzpatrick allowing touchdowns, being in the wrong spot all the time, or it could be Cameron Sutton, because Cameron Sutton played terrible these past however many games he's been back now on the Steelers. So in my eyes, it could be those 2 players. But it's 1 player, and Cameron Heyward says that. It's 1 player not doing their job. So who is it? It could be anyone, but let me know your thoughts down in the comments below who you think it is. I think it's Minkah. So anyway, let's move over to what Patrick Queen had to say. Because Patrick Queen said this, once again calling out his team for a 2nd consecutive week. We came out flat. Can't explain it. It's happening. We're talking about it and nobody is doing anything about it. I don't know. If nobody does anything about what they're supposed to be doing, then we don't have any room for it. I don't know if we have to keep saying it. We have said it in the last 2 or 3 weeks. It is at a point where you realize it and go out there and play fast and play physical and do your job. End quote. So that's 2 consecutive weeks. Patrick Queen calling out this defense, saying miscommunication, guys aren't doing their job, aren't in the right spot. We keep saying it over and over, but it's not getting fixed. So Patrick Queen calls out this defense, and now let's move over to one thing to end this video basically. It's a Cameron Heyward quote. Let's end it on this, because Cameron Heyward gives a positive, kind of uplifting message, but also calling out the team at the same time. So here's the final quote of the video. The last 3 weeks, we've been playing like ish. Simple as that. I own that. Every player's got to own that in here. Man, just can't squander opportunities. Whether it's turnovers, whether it's getting off the field, whether it's scoring touchdowns. It's a multitude of things, and it has reread its big head. But my confidence is never going to lack in the group. It's just from an execution standpoint. It's just dumbfounding. We have to get it done on those plays. We set up in meetings, we take it out to the practice field. That means nothing if you don't do it in the game. End quote. So that's an uplifting message, but at the same time calling out the defense, saying, hey, be on the same page. Make the plays that need to be made, do the basic things, but also saying he's never going to lack confidence in this group, and we could get it done. We practice it, we watch it on a film, we could do it. We're a good defense. So, end all quotes. Now let me just talk about everything to kind of unpack this, because the Steelers are spiraling. Every player has gone to the media and basically called out the team. You look at Mike Tomlin, he's basically done the same thing. To a later stance, he doesn't really take it too far, but he basically called out the team too. You look at TJ Watt, he didn't really call out the team too much, but he did as well in the media. So all these players like Alex Highsmith, Cameron Heyward, Elliott, and you look at Patrick Queen, they're all calling out the defense, and it's specific to the defense. There's no really offensive player calling out the team other than obviously George Pickens spiraling on the sideline all game long, spiraling on the field, lying down on the field, and just going crazy when he doesn't get the ball. Other than that, that's the least of our worries right now, because the offense is fine from that regard. But the defense right now is just not getting the job done. Lit up nearly 30 points in the last 3 weeks. Every single game, it's just not going to do anything, especially when the team relies on their defense. And it's just every single week, it seems like the miscommunication happens. And Patrick Queen, like I said, he called it the defense many weeks ago, last week again, this week again. And now everyone is realizing that this defense may be frauds, and this defense is just not good. And it all starts with the players on the field, but it also starts with the defensive coordinator and the defensive scheme. The players are blaming the players, calling each other out, and trying to get things fixed. They never really wanted to happen, never really wanted to take it to the media. But at this point in the season, if that's what's going to end up working for this team and everyone to get it together, sure, because it doesn't seem like it's working, keeping it internal. So now that's going external. Hopefully players step up and realize, hey, we need to turn this around. So like I said, the players are blaming the players, but it's really not just the players. If you're looking at it from a scheme perspective too, the defense coordinator has been bad all season. He's getting carried by this team in terms of star players, in terms of TJ Watt getting sacks, Nick Herbig fumbles, and Alex Highsmith sacks, Cameron Heyward, everything like that. He's really getting carried by his defensive line. The scheme and the defensive backs especially has been awful. They allow the top players on the Chiefs, Ravens, Eagles, just every single team just is run wide open in terms of everyone's open. Players are playing 10 yards off of Xavier Worthy, and when you allow him to run in space, what are you doing? That's an easy catch, that's an easy run for like 20 plus yards. Every single player is just 10 yards played off, which it just allows easy catches. So the scheme makes no sense. The players being in the wrong spots make no sense. This defense in general just makes no sense. And when there's no turnovers being created, then the Steelers defense just sucks. And that's just the basic of it, because they can't stop anyone unless they get a fumble here and there, which turned around the game. And when they do nothing, like this past week, 0 sacks against the Chiefs, they have no chance to win. So when you look at the Steelers in the playoffs too, I'll go through it in a different video, but they allowed the most points. Basically, every single time they make the playoffs, they allowed the most points at home, most points away, most points all season long in every single playoff game that they get eliminated in. So that's the basic line. The Steelers defense, it just crumbles late towards the end of the season. And the beginning of the season, sure, it may play good, but it's really just because of the star players and the turnovers, things like that. It's never because there's just secure, lockdown defense, great scheme. No, it's just big plays being made at the right time, and later towards the end of the season, everyone has that fixed. Everyone knows, don't make mistakes against the Steelers and you win the game. And that's what's been happening. So the Steelers defense has been awful, but that's the end of this video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you think the Steelers defense will get fixed? What's your thoughts on the players calling each other out? And what do you think is the big issue here? Also, like I said at the beginning of the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news, updates, highlights, analysis, reports, rumors, everything surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers. I cover it. And to stay up to date with everything involving this situation, subscribe, turn on notifications, and until the next video, I'll see you guys all later. I'm out. Peace.